Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another episode of Ear to Ear Podcast with C. Ray and Lanny Moe. I am C. Ray, and this fellow with pointing his finger at all of us on the other side of the screen is Lanny Moe. Lanny, how you doing today, man?
What's up, buddy? How you doing? Good.
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. We got probably in the last week 12 inches of snow total at my house here on top of the mountain in Charleston. So I'm pretty happy. You know, been running around with the snow plow, been running around with the dogs. It's been a good week. Cold, but I like it. Can't complain. How's Morgantown? Nothing much changing up there yet?
Morgantown probably got a total of anywhere between 6 to 8, depending on where you're at in Morgantown or right outside of it. I hate winter. Can't stand it.
Yes, the polar opposites we are when it comes to the weather, man. I love it. I have been on cloud nine for the last week. Man, so something good to talk about, something that probably nobody thought would happen. WVU men's basketball beat Kansas last night. Can we talk about that for a couple minutes? How, Lanny? How did it happen? How? What happened?
The number one thing was they made shots. West Virginia made shots. You got Sumnick that the boy couldn't tie his shoes last year. And this year it's like just throw it at the rim and hope it goes in. If not, chase it down and shoot it again and again and spin left and spin. The other night, he double pivoted and he got surprised that they called a walk on him. But, for him to come out and score 18, 20 points, it's huge. I mean, that's taking the pressure way off of anybody else. And Battle's going to do his thing. Battle's going to score his 20 to 25, take bad shots. He's going to hit a deep three. Farrakhan is stealing Johnson's minutes. You got to play your better players, and that's it. And when you got Wilson going, 3 or 4 for 6, shooting 50% from 3 in a game, that's the combination of how you get wins. And honestly, Dickinson is being a, All-American, went from Michigan down to out to Kansas, just got outplayed. He got outplayed by guys that are honestly 6'9", 6'8" guys. They got Dickinson listed as a 7'1", 7'2" center that can pull out with range, and he just didn't do anything. I mean, my hat's off to Allard, if it was the game plan or if players made plays, but we'll definitely take it.
Absolutely. And you made a good point about Dickinson. I will tell you something right now. If I see a lot of the things with that Zach Edey kid for Purdue that's like 7'4", and Dickinson too. I see it with both of them. These guys are over 7 foot tall, and to me, sometimes they play soft. And I'm like, if I would have been 7'4" with the skill set that I had in high school, I mean, you would know me, but you wouldn't be talking to me right now on a podcast, because I'm not going to toot my own horn on too many things. I'm not good at a lot of things. Basketball is something I was good at. If I would have been 7'4" with the skill set I had, I sure as hell wouldn't be doing podcasts right now and working in the power industry. You know what I mean? Like, and I look at these guys and I'm like, you are 7'4". How do you not score 20 every single game? How do you not grab 10 rebounds every single game? But I give it to Allard. I think it was a good game plan because, I mean, we bodied the hell out of him, put 2 or 3 guys on him at times. And, I mean, we really took away his bread and butter. He still got some points in there. He still got some good shots in there that he made. But, man, we really took away his skill set last night, and it was a big difference. I think that was a huge difference in the game itself. Last night going into the game, and I was even saying this, to some people, Kansas was -9.5. If I would have been a betting man, I would have hammered that. And I'm glad that I'm not a betting man because I would have lost a lot of money. I would have hammered -9.5 on Kansas last night. I thought that there was no way that we lost that game by less than 15. And it's not because I'm an anti-WVU fan. It's just look at our season. We've got these games where we just look like we don't know what we're doing sometimes. And I thought Kansas was really going to come into Morgantown and really kick our rear ends up and down the court. And I was just really surprised at the ending. You make a good point about Noah Farrakhan taking away a lot of Kobe Johnson's minutes. and I don't mean this in a negative way, and I don't bash players. I don't like to, I always try to be encouraging to all of our players and stuff like that. But I'm not real sure what Kobe Johnson brings to the table. He gets in, he does a lot of driving to the lane, and he kind of gets caught up in a lot of stuff. And in my opinion, has led to a lot of turnovers from him this year. And maybe that's why Farrakhan's taken some of his, minutes. I just don't see a lot of greatness coming out of Kobe Johnson when he's on the court. And maybe there's something I'm missing. But Raekwon Battle, 23 points last night, went off. He really controlled the game a lot. He had a lot of good shots, and he was a baller. Like, he just put out some ball and moves and some shots, and really, him and Sumnik. Sumnik had 20 points. Raekwon had 23. Just a completely different game than I expected for where we are right now as a program. And Kansas coming in as the number 3 team in the country. Not what I expected.
I think that what's his name? Selinsky really, really struggles being a number 2 to Battle or somebody else. Without Battle, Selinsky was the guy. Selinsky was dropping 18, 20 points a game when he had to be the guy. And I think he just kind of gets back in his shadows a little bit when other good players hit the floor. And I just hope, I hate to even say this, I don't want to go here, but we get Edwards back within probably next week. We'll get Edwards back. This team is totally different from week to week with what we've had to plug in and stuff. And they're 7-11. There's no way. The only way this team makes the NCAA tournament, they got to run the gauntlet and win the Big 12 tournament. That's the only way they're going to get in. And honestly, I think this team's dumb enough to go on a damn 6-game heater in the Big 12 tournament. I mean, it would not surprise me that they play back to back and win the damn Big 12. Not to say it'll happen, but I'm not saying they could. If anything, this team, they defend home. I mean, Texas comes in, beat them. Kansas comes in, beat them. Now on the road, they act like they don't know. Like, once they got to pack their luggage, it's a whole other story with them. But it's Jekyll and Hyde, and like I said, I was getting ready to go into it where, man, you hate to say what if, but what if this team had everybody from day one? I don't think the deck is quite as stacked against Allard, and he's catching the heat for it. And I don't know what to think about this or going into next year, because none of these guys on this year's team will be back here next year.
So that's a really good kind of what if game there, Lanny. What if we start the season with the entire team intact and the entire team on the floor? No, and I think you're right, because I've been a pretty, I don't know if I would say supporter, because I don't, it's still for me a little early to determine whether or not I think my lowly opinion of, on the importance in the sports world scale, to think whether or not Allard has what it takes to be a D1 coach. But I think you're right that if we start the season with the whole team, we're probably looking at a difference, definitely looking at a different record right now. There's no way we're what, 7-11? We're not 7-11 if these guys are all together from day one. And I think a lot of these people that are out here throwing Allard under the bus, telling him that, he's not the guy, we need to fire him. First off, who are we going to get? That's always the question, right? Who are we going to get? And we'll talk about that in a second. But, all these people that are so against and dragging Allard through the mud, it's like, is it really, how much of this is on him when you look at how our season started? And you look at the last week, in the last 7 days, we have played 3 ranked teams and we beat 2 of them. Now, and we really, honestly, I don't really know what happened at the Oklahoma game because I was driving, so I was listening to it on the road, so I didn't get to see a lot of what happened. But, what's that?
Second half.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it, at halftime, we're what, down 2 or 4? It was, I think you said we were down 4 at the half. So the question becomes, we clearly had a second half breakdown there, but that was a winnable game at halftime. So I guess the question I'm getting at here is, in the last week, we're 2-1 against ranked teams, being the team that we are or have been expected to be this year. Is there maybe a little bit of, and I'm not going to say light at the end of the tunnel as in, hey, we're going to make the tournament, but light at the end of the tunnel as in, maybe we're realizing that this isn't Allard's fault where we're at 7-11. It's not his coaching. It's, hey, now we've got the players that we were supposed to have on the court doing what we were supposed to do. Maybe he's better a coach than a lot of these people are giving him credit for. Because he went in last night with a heck of a game plan that came out with a win against the number 3 team in the country.
Yeah.
And we stormed the court. Good luck. WVU's got a fine coming their way now.
I hate it. I get where teams, that fans need, what I'm saying? They need the jubilation. They need the excitement. It's a great win. Top 5 team. Stay the hell off the court. I grew up here in Morgantown. My friends, we could go over there and play at the Coliseum late at night on like Thursday nights and stuff like that, as long as nothing was going on. And we like carried our gym bag and changed shoes, and they would make us like sweep the floor. If somebody, how you got cheerleaders out there and they're like picking up pom-pom pieces and stuff. And then you got Joe Schmo with his dirty ass Timberlands running out on the court, storming it after the game. Act like you've been there before, even though we ain't been there in a long time. But it's like, I can't stand it and it's nationwide, and I know it's tradition, and I'm the old guy now that, hey, get off the floor. Stay off the floor. You got people the people that spend like big money to sit down on the floor, which are the worst seats in the whole damn building anyway. You can't see nothing. But they're like 20 seconds left. They're like, okay, we got to get our stuff. And because our chair's about to go flying out into the court. And I can't stand it. It really bothers me. And I don't know why. Just like whenever they storm the field in football, it's, I think you just get pepper sprayed instantly if you run out onto any type of surface on any sport except for soccer. Soccer, you deserve to go nuts, take off your shirt, run around, slide, and goal. And yeah. But yeah,
that's funny. I don't know. I have 50-50 feelings toward it. I don't care one way or the other to me. But I agree. There's certain teams that shouldn't do it. And like you said, we ain't been there in a while. It's been a while since we've been there, but we've been there. Right. So it's like, we're not, I don't know, Rutgers trying to get a win over Duke in the NCAA tournament or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know. Beating Kansas to me is not. It's a great win, and it's something that nobody thought we were going to do this year. But it's not storm the court worthy.
That's two times in a week that Kansas got the court stormed on them when they lost to UCF. UCF stormed the court. Come to Morgantown, we stormed the court. It's like, man, I don't know.
Hey, that is a half court tangle up there with, I don't remember who it was, where I think somebody was arguing it should have been a 10-second call, but yeah. Did you see Bill Self run onto the court? Dude, if that would have been any other coach in this country, that would have been a T. I mean, he was like out at half court where the players were laying on the floor. His face is all red and he's screaming. How does that man not get a T right there? But if that would have been Huggins, Huggins would have had his ass thrown out right there. That would have been it. Well,
depending on where it was at, But I mean,
that's crazy. But hey, congrats to the guys. It was a great win. It really was. Congrats to Aller. I think
my thing is just don't lose again.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, Lanny? That is some sound logic. But I think you're right. I think we are going to get Edwards back next week. I mean, he warmed up last night and was dressed. I don't think
the cast was off in the I guess he was in like a soft wrap. It was off. I'm pretty sure that he could have played last night, but they're just like, okay, we're going to give it another 5 days between games or whatever, and we'll see. But and it's going to be the first time. I mean, I think Battle and Edwards actually played like 6 minutes together this year.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I mean, we'll see. We'll definitely get to see what happens next in this whirlwind of a shit show of a basketball.
It's a roller coaster of a season that we're having. I mean, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas. I mean, it's definitely interesting. But staying on the hardwood, let's talk about the women for a second, okay? 16-2, just beat Cincinnati by 29 points. Beat the crap out of it. By a lot. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. They freaking beat their arses. Lance, let me ask you a question. To your knowledge, is there any difference of how they do rankings for women's basketball?
I have no clue. I know that women's basketball plays 4 quarters, and that there ain't very many of them that can dunk. And but as far as how the rankings work, also, buddy, I have no idea, because you have West Virginia who's 16-2, and you're not ranked.
I don't understand it. And if there's anybody out there that can explain to us, is there a difference in what they do with women's basketball? Because let's delve into something here for a second. Okay, I'm looking at it right now. All right, so UNLV 14-1, not a bad record, 25th. Iowa State 12-4. Okay, 12-4.
That's one of our losses.
That is one of our losses. 12-4. UNC 12-5. These teams have 4 less wins than the WVU women's team, 3-2 more losses than the WVU women's team. Marquette 15-2, not terrible, 1 less win. Creighton 13-3. Utah 12-5. That is your spots from 20 to 25. Okay.
What's the top 5?
Hold on. Oh, don't beat me to the punchline here. Now, there are other teams. I'm not going to waste time going all the way through it, but I am going to make a graphic, and we're going to go over it next week in depth. There are a handful of teams ranked going from 19 up to 10 that have similar records, all right, than the 6 that I just listed. All of them ranked. WVU women, 16-2, not ranked. Don't understand it. The top 5, okay. South Carolina, 15-0. All right, you're the only undefeated team left in the nation. You got to be number 1. Makes sense. I'm not going to argue with that. Iowa, 17-1. Better record. Makes sense. Colorado and North Carolina State, 15-1. So 1 less loss, but 1 less win. And then number 5 is UCLA at 14-1. So it's arguable that the women's basketball team has a better record than the number 5 team, being that they have only 1 more loss but 2 more wins. So at very least, you think that, I'm not saying they should be number 5. What I'm saying is there's a lot of disrespect at the women's basketball team right now, and I don't understand it. When I'm looking through these rankings and I'm pulling what I tell you a little bit ago, 9 or 10 teams that have worse records than our women's basketball team, and they're not ranked. Yeah. There's only 2 teams in the entire top 25. There's only 2 teams that have more wins than WVU's women's basketball, and that's Iowa and Kansas State. And Kansas State, I don't know if they've played Kansas State yet or not, but if they have, they've beaten Kansas State, because WVU women's 2 team losses is Iowa State and Texas.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. I don't know. I feel a lot of disrespect for the women's team right now, because it just doesn't make sense to me. Now, here's the thing. They lost on January 3rd to Texas. They lost on January 10th to Iowa State. They've won every game. What's that?
Bad week.
Back-to-back in the same week. I get it. 0-2 that week. But that's been, 2.5 weeks now? They're 3-0 since then. Beating Cincinnati being the latest win by 30 points. It just doesn't make sense to me. I just don't understand it. So if there's anybody out there that can maybe shed some light on what the difference might be in women's basketball rankings, we here would appreciate it, because right now I'm ready to go die on that hill for the women's basketball team. It doesn't make any sense to me. They're beating the crap out of everybody except the 2 teams that they've lost to.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, man. But hey, guess what? Alabama quarterback transferring to Ohio State. Thoughts?
that's what happens. I mean, the way I see it is you got a new coach coming in, and this is what the world we live in with college football and basketball, with the NIL, and it's open trades, and I don't want to be here, so I'm gonna go somewhere else and either make more money or get to play. And the coach that recruited him isn't there no more. So I'm saying I don't know why anybody want to go play for Ohio State and Ryan Day, but that's just me personally.
Going to lose to Michigan next year.
But he's probably a 4-star, 5-star quarterback, and there's only 6 programs in the United States he's going to go to. So, I mean, good luck. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but man,
did Neil even try?
Why would you?
I'm just saying, throw it out there.
That is one market that West Virginia is not in. The West
quarterback?
No, dude. And I just believe that you're going to live and die with Green and Nico. That's your 1 and that's your 2. And you got Green for 1 more year. You got Nico for 3. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not going to matter because Nico's going to beat Green out for the starting position this coming year. So
you're crazy. You're crazier than hell.
Hey, I may be. Maybe I'm still on some of my pain meds for my surgery Thursday. I don't know, but I'm just saying right now, you watch it, Nico. Nico's going to win that job this year.
No way. I'm telling you what.
He's going to come in there and he's going to make Gino's numbers look like kindergarten numbers.
You're crazier than hell. Green. I hate to even say this. I really hate to even because people were trying to get Green the hell out of here last year, hoping he transfer. And we were going through a semi controversial, is it Nico, is it Green, and going into going into spring camp. I mean, the coaches knew it was Green, and they're just not going to say it. But dude, if Green puts together, the boy, we ain't never going to see him with NFL shoulder pads on. I just believe that. But
I freaking hope not, dude. The boy weighs 190 pounds. First time one of them boys come down the pipe in the NFL, he's done.
But I'm telling you, he could put up some numbers that could scare some. I don't want to say the whole Heisman thing, but he could. I'm telling you, man, that he could be comparable to some very good past guys that finished in the top 10 in the Heisman. So,
I mean, well,
Green will never, ever hurt us. And I truly believe if West Virginia's down 4 with a minute to play, I have trust in Green. I'm not saying to score, but I'm saying to get us to the 5 with the potential to score. I believe that. And I did not feel that way a year and a half ago at all.
Oh, God, no. Not a year and a half ago, dude. I didn't feel that way until after the Houston game this past year. I mean, the bye week was the turning point for Green for whatever reason. I don't know why that was. I don't think he was playing well in the first 4 games of the season. The 5th game before bye week played a little better, but after bye week, he was a completely different quarterback.
I think Brown let him go.
You think that's what it was?
I think Brown took the reins off of him and kind of let him, go a little bit, right. Because his decision-making was a lot better, faster. And he took more control of the offense, I feel.
I think that's fair. Now I'm going to put a prediction out there, okay? And I don't know how many people are watching our channel now. Probably not enough for anybody to remember me saying this except you. But Nico, okay, in my opinion, the only difference between the two is the speed of game. Green has the experience where he's been in game time situations for 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Nico doesn't have that experience yet that has sharpened his decision-making skills to be quick enough. Green, okay, this is his last year, and then so it looks like the plan is Green this year, Nico the next 2.
Yes.
You ready for my prediction?
Go ahead.
You ready for this?
Go ahead.
All right. Nico will be 3 times the quarterback his last year that Green will be his last year.
You know what? If you want to go numbers for numbers, I believe you're correct with that because Nico can spin the ball. He throws a better intermediate, and I just think that Nico will be able to pick teams apart. Green relies on his legs a lot more, where Nico set back there and just sling it all over the field.
Now, you're right. Yep, that's a good point. And there's no denying that Green is a better runner. But the little bit of sampling that we got to see this year did prove to us that Nico can run and will run when he needs to and will get yards. He picked up some stuff when he did take off running this year. And here's the thing, and I have really taken a lot of backlash from people about this because everyone's like, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. The Texas Tech game, all right, we were on like the 5-yard line. We needed to march, and we needed to march quickly and accurately to get to get a last touchdown to win that game. And Nico marched as a true freshman, well, redshirt freshman now, marched that field, hit every pass, picked up a first down with his legs, if I remember correctly, or came close to it. He made all the layups for guys to get out of bounds and do what we needed to do to get to that point where we could score again. And it's a small sampling, but if he progresses with that over this coming year, I think he is going to be way more of a quarterback, way better. He's going to be way better than Green is when 3 years, 4 years, however many years from now, you and I are going to be sitting here and we're going to be comparing their last year numbers. And I think Nico's is going to blow Green's out of the water.
But my thing is, I don't care who is the guy. West Virginia is very, very set at quarterback for the next 3 years.
Yeah, sure.
We don't have to worry about that. Now is when Brown has to go get the next guy.
Yeah, and you know what?
I don't know who we signed. I don't know, if we do have that next guy coming in the class of 20, you know what I'm saying? He might be here. I don't know if he's coming in 25 or 26, but and I'm depressed because
why?
It just really hit me that when Alabama, I think we go to Bama. Bama come here first. We go there in 27.
Give me 1 second. I'll tell you because I'm curious myself.
I think it was 26, 27 or 27 to 28.
Right.
I don't know. I got to get FundMe started for it already with the wife about putting money away to go to Bama. But it sucks that it did really just hit me that Saban's not going to be able to coach here, or we're not going to play against Saban. So.
Oh yeah. Well, that's true. We have Alabama on. I think it's at home. Yeah, Alabama at home, 2026.
Yeah.
And then, so my assumption is we go to Alabama. Yeah, we go to Alabama in 2027.
27.
God, man. Seems so far away, dude, but it'll be, hey.
It's really not.
No, it's really not. And those will be Nico's years. The home game in 2026 should be Nico's senior year.
He'll be a senior, yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. I don't know, man. I think all things, all jokes aside, I really do, though. I don't know why. There's just something I see in the kid. He's got it. He just needs to get more game time to sharpen that. He's got to be just a little quicker and see the game a little slower. But I'm not complaining about Green because it's like I said, man. He really.
I think and with recruiting, our line's looking good.
Yeah.
From what I'm seeing, we are absolutely loading up with transfers and the kids in high school recruiting defensive back and safeties and linebackers.
As we should be.
My goodness. Like every kid that comes to visit, is a safety, a cornerback, or a linebacker.
Right, and we should be, because that's been a thin spot for us for the last few
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
But
And
you made a comment a couple minutes ago, and this is kind of something that'll be interesting. You said you don't know where the next quarterback's coming from, in that class of 25, 26, when we're going to want somebody sitting under Nico.
or now,
He might be coming from high school. The question is going to be, though, when the current landscape of college football, let's say we bring in that kid in 2025 and we redshirt him as a freshman. Nico's got 2025. Nico would be a junior. That would be this kid's redshirt freshman year. All right, 2026. Nico's a senior. It's this kid's, true freshman year, then redshirt freshman year. All right. So then when Nico graduates, this kid, hypothetically, if we brought him here in 2025, would have 3 years. The question is, with current landscape of college football, will that kid still be here?
it's a great question, because now you got to be that thought in the back of your mind, or afraid to be like, man, if we don't play this kid from the start,
he's going to leave.
He's gone. Unless you can truly set him down and say, listen here, I promise you, what you hate to do, you're the guy. You're the one. You're not going to play as a freshman. You might not see the field your sophomore. We're going to redshirt you, then you're going to have your redshirt freshman. But after that, the reins are yours. And if you're straight up with a kid, it takes a special one to stick it out. But it's like, and it's every college is that way, because now they're talking about Ewers down in Texas. If he stays, Manning might be going somewhere, even though that window's closed, he'd have to do it in the spring. But it's like, I don't see him going anywhere, because he redshirted this year, backup, and the boy made something ridiculous. $5 million.
Because of simply because of the nameplate on the back of the kid's jersey.
Yeah, but still, yet though, it's going. When Ewers was at Ohio State, he made money, and then transferred, and he got all these transfers bouncing around. The quarterback landscape of college football is insane. You don't know where these kids are going to pop up to next.
Oh God, man!
That's like the kid at Arizona. It's like he's the next thing now, because Fish took off from Arizona and went up to Washington to take care of DeBoer, who came down, who left Washington to come down
to Alabama.
And I get you're loyal to, you want to go with the coach that recruited you. A lot of times you don't go to where the university, you go to the coach.
Right. And I get that. I
and you got some that fell in love with the university no matter who coaches there, Sure. And I think that's where Nico hit WVU. He liked Brown, and then also, I like this university, because if there's no doubt in my mind that there's somebody has contacted Green. We knew that before, because Green openly said, I'm not leaving no matter who calls me, so that kind of was like, Green was getting calls from somebody. And Nico, the NIL, WVU came up with the NIL money for Nico, and the Country Roads Trust is doing very well. It just seems like every other week they're signing somebody else, to it. But the landscape of it is crazy, and you're not going to get it under control until you start almost salary capping. So
well, and I think, and you know what, this is an interesting road to go down and talk about salary capping. I could see that being the thing that spreads some of these blue chip recruits out to non-blue chip schools, right? Let's say you've got Alabama, because obviously, listen, teams aren't going to like it. Certain teams aren't going to like it, but salary cap needs to be the same across the board. Hypothetical. All right. We've got Power 5 only. Same across the board. Guess what, Bama? Hey, you guys have hit your cap. Clemson, you've hit your cap. Right? Georgia, you've hit your cap. These other guys that you guys are wanting to bring in, you either need to cut somebody or they're not coming. Well, those kids got to go somewhere.
Well, then you're just going to have backdoor deals like they've always had in college. Then, where.
Yeah, but the difference here. But here's the difference. Okay, let's say whatever entity that could hypothetically come to oversee all this, they're going to look at this roster and say, okay, Georgia, you reported, X players that sold out your salary. Okay. Well, now all of a sudden this kid's on your roster. How'd you get him? Where'd he come from? Did you cut money from somebody? He's
coming here because he loves the facilities.
He's coming here for free?
Yeah. Education.
BS. Get the hell out of here. Ain't nobody gonna buy that.
But it's a mess. It is an absolute mess all the way around.
You're right, but you know what? What you just found right there is a good hole in my plan. Like, how do you govern it? How do you keep track of it? And we keep coming back to this, and it's being an interesting thing. I would love to talk with some other people. Maybe if we could track somebody down in the industry. There has to, at some point, this is going to be the wild, wild west until somebody steps in to regulate this crap. And it's like I said it's like I've said before. I'm not saying it has to be the government, but somebody somewhere, there needs to be something that overlook this crap, because eventually it's out of hand now.
Me and you,
I got it. Hell yeah, I'll commission. I'll be the NCAA co-commissioners right here. We have no bias. Never mind that we're wearing blue and gold in our podcast. That doesn't mean a thing.
Oh. We're from West Virginia. Of course we know.
But I think I don't know, man. You're right though. The landscape of it is just crazy. And I think a salary cap is a good first start, because then all these kids, first off, it's going to put a cap on these teams that are building dynasties. Not that there's anything wrong with it. You got Alabama who, that's something I want to come back to in a second. Remind me of that. Alabama and their dynasty. But, like I just said, you're getting all these recruits, you're stacking all this up. Well, okay, you've either got to pay somebody less, or you've got to cut somebody, or you've got to do something, because you got too many kids here wanting to come here, and you don't have, your salary cap only has $500,000 left. You've got 3 kids that you want to pay $1 million each. You're going to have to do something about it. And I think that's a good way to spread some of this talent out to other schools in the country that, because these kids, if they're good enough to go to Alabama, then they want to play football somewhere, because their dream is going to be the NFL. And you can get there from other schools. You don't have to go to Alabama to get to the NFL. But circling back here, how much pressure do you think is on Alabama's new coach?
All of it. All the pressure.
Do you think that
he cannot go down there and piss around and win 7 or 8 games?
They will. They will drag the man through the streets.
He can't. My thing is, I love chaos. I love chaos.
I know you do.
And I want to see, and I don't want to wish bad omen on anybody or whatever, and see somebody do bad and lose their job, whatever. No. But I want to see chaos. I would love to see Alabama, that dude, go down there and they win 7 games, 8 games, and just see the reaction of the wheels falling off. And I think Texas A&M made the worst hire in college football in a long time. That Elko does not get down. And to fire Jimbo and to pay him the money, and I know we talked about this, and we'll continue to talk about this, Elko, I don't know if Texas A&M's capable of anybody's going there. If anybody can go there and win, 10, 11, year in, year out. And that Elko, dude, he didn't do it at Duke. You didn't win the ACC in the trash league that is at Duke. You couldn't put it down. And now they're going to, it's a mess.
Part of the problem that man has gotten himself into going to Texas A&M is Texas A&M has, in my opinion, a hugely overinflated ego for what they really are.
I believe so, because well, the thing is, they got so much money, man.
Yes,
You know, they're printing
it, and they are. They're damn right they are. Here's a good example of what Texas A&M thinks that they are. And this is coming from a Yankee fan. I am a Yankee fan in the baseball world. I love the Yanks. Not a bandwagon. Went to my first MLB game when I was younger. A buddy took me. First full MLB game I ever watched. It was the Yankees and the Orioles. And I was like, man, hey, Yankees. Pick the team. I've stuck with them since I was 10 years old, through the good and the bad. And there's been, seems lately, been a lot more bad. They can buy any player in the world that they want. They can buy any player, and they do buy any player they want. And they can't make the playoffs. And it's something that fires me up, because I don't know how you can be a team that you can buy any baseball player in the entire world and you can't make the playoffs every year. That's nuts to me. Texas A&M kind of reminds me of the Yankees. They've got all this money. They could buy any college right now with the way the landscape of college football is working. They could buy any college football player they want, and they're still not winning a national championship. They're still not even making the playoffs. Okay, Jimbo in his time down there was 20 games above 500 and 3 bowl wins, and they fired the man, playing in the toughest division of the toughest conference of college football. And they fired the man. And you got a guy from Duke who didn't do crap in the ACC, and you think that's the answer to your problem?
Then you're going to come along with, how much pressure is on the new coach of Alabama?
Yeah. You know what? You're right. Let me rephrase that question. How much pressure is on Elko at TMU? That man right there, there's no way. There's no way he could live up to it. And I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see in his first season, what he's going to do. He's going to get down there, okay? He's going to get his first 2 years in. He's probably going to be somewhere around 500, maybe 1 or 2 games above. I don't know. Maybe he has a system that'll work in the SEC. Who knows?
They'll win their 7. He'll win 7 or 8.
But that's not good enough for them.
That's not good enough. That's what got the last guy fired.
So, again, after being 20 games above 500 with 3 bowl wins, that's what got the last guy fired.
So, but I mean, it's right now. I mean, DeBoer, I think that's his name. The guy came from Washington, Alabama coach.
I don't know how to say it.
He has to take whatever happened at Alabama, up in Washington, the flash or whatever he brought up there the last couple of years, and instantly plug it right into Bama. Oh, it's gonna be fire on the mountain down there. But
those are 2 schools that I'm really interested to watch over the next 2 seasons. I want to see how those 2 guys handle the pressure they're coming into, and I want to see how the fan bases and administrations react, because that Texas A&M, if they're 2 seasons in and this guy's 3 or 4 games above 500, he's getting the axe. He's going to. They've got more money than sense, and that's a problem with oil money. You got more money than you do sense. They're going to axe him. You're not building anything here. You're bringing it here now, and that's what these. I mean, we get it. We went through it. We're still going through it. Trusting the climb and whatever the hell. Trusting the climb, my ass.
On it, but you know what? The man's climbing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, bang, bang, bop, bop. But to win 9 now, what kind of target does Neil put on his back? Does he got, because we just talked about this. Is 8 wins good enough at WVU now? Anybody would have took 8 the last couple of years. Now is 8 going, oh man, you know what? We suck again. We got to have 9. We got to have 10. And I think if this next year's team, with who we got coming back, if they only win 8 games, it's going to be mediocre. They're trash, whatever, And it's a culture that we live in right now across the board, college football.
Right.
Because you have a couple good years, and you have a couple bad years. It's always wanting more. We want more, and it's tough, man. It's gonna be very, very interesting.
Well, first off, I wouldn't say the man's climbing. I would say we walked to the top of an easy grass pasture knoll this past year. Okay, we didn't climb anything.
Easier season this year.
Huh?
We play an easier schedule this year.
It is not easier. If anything, it is a tad bit harder. Easier? There's no way it's easier. This schedule last year was the easiest damn schedule we've had in the last 20 years. Okay, not the last 20 years. It's been the easiest schedule we've had since we joined the Big 12. Now, Arizona is not as big of a deal now, which we all know that.
Well, really, it depends on if who came to Arizona. San Jose State, I think, is the name of that
State
coach. Yeah, and it depends on if everybody bails out of Arizona and leaves them depleted. I think they already had something stupid, 9 transfers already that decided to play for this guy. So, man, it's just a mess. And and Houston got a new coach. So just moving to Big 12. I think Hoagie is about to be the OC at Nebraska.
Dude,
from what I've been hearing.
Yeah, I heard the same thing. And what a fall, right? Like,
reality check.
Man, like,
still yet though, you're still going to be an OC, and he was a very, very good OC.
I think I always said that I thought he was a better OC than head coach anyway.
Yeah.
I liked Hoagie personally. Okay. And
I just had a problem with his character. That's the only problem I ever had with him.
I mean, yeah, but it's hard to argue against that. It's really hard to argue against the man's character. But, the biggest thing to me, if you're hired as a football coach, you're hired to win games.
Yeah.
Me personally, I couldn't give a shit less about your character. Now, I think one of the things that I did have a problem with is a way he approached some of the previous players in coming back. You know what I mean? He was kind of disrespectful to some of the guys that are the solid foundation of WVU football, and I don't think that was okay.
Well, he thought he was bigger than the program.
Right. And I think that is coming from where he came from to little old West Virginia University, but there's a lot of tradition at this. I mean, you got to remember when you come to coach here, this is all we got. We don't have pro teams in West Virginia. We don't have any other college team. Okay. Marshall. We don't have any other Power 5, college teams in this state. We've got WVU. So there's no coach that's going to come here that's ever going to be bigger than this program. But I will give you credit on that. I think that was the one thing of his downfall, was thinking that he's coming to little old WVU. They're lucky to have me. I can do whatever the hell I want. And if you want to let him go on that, then I'm fine with it. All the other crap, I don't know. I'm not saying, I don't think I would ever bring him back, because I don't think recycling coaches ever works. But we'll see. On that note, I do think that's where we're going to wrap it up this week, Lanny Mo.
Yeah.
We got
a little area on this one that
a little bit. This was supposed to be like a half-hour gig when we started it, and I think multiple times we've ran it to 45 minutes. But hey, if people are enjoying it, that's what we care about, So if you tell us we need to shut up at 30 minutes,
please comment. Please comment to shut the hell up or wrap it up or move on. Yeah,
that's right, man.
We do like the comments, good or bad, wide shoulders. We both can take it. Just comment, like, subscribe, tell us what you think. Hit us up on Twitter or the X or whatever the
hell it's called now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, hey, thank you guys for listening. We hope we appreciate all you guys that do listen. Like Lanny said, leave us a I was going to say a text. Leave us a comment, leave us a like, leave us a subscribe, and we hope you all have a good week.
Hope we left you smiling ear to ear later on.